Merry Christmas, everybody. Merry Christmas, and in just a few hours, a very happy Hanukkah. It is our Christmas Day preview show here on Old Man Squad Fantasy Basketball. Just a quick little 10 to 15 minute rip the Band-Aid off 5-game Christmas Day show where we're going to talk about what's going on in each ball game, what the fantasy angles might be, and maybe just nuzzle up against the idea of lines on the game. We haven't talked about that very much this season, and that's something that I think we'll probably add back into the mix a bit more next NBA season. I am Dan Bespris for Old Man Squad Fantasy Basketball. Find me on social media at Dan Bespris, DanBesbris. That is over on Twitter for the most part, Old Man Squad on Blue Sky. Strongly recommend you guys do a follow over on social because a lot happens in the NBA that is in between shows. Hit the like button while you're settling in. Subscribe to Old Man Squad Fantasy Basketball and the Old Man Squad Sports Network. And drop a 5-star review if you feel so inclined. We have 5 entertaining games coming up on Christmas Day. Here is the first one. Spurs at Knicks. This is a breakdown from the NBA.com homepage. So shout out to NBA.com. You guys are just seeing me with a Windows photo window open. Spurs and Knicks start things off. That is a 9 a.m. Pacific time start, noon Eastern. Knicks are 9.5-point favorites with a total of 226.5. I'm going to read the description from the NBA page. They write, and I quote, Wembanyama will make his Christmas Day debut. I'll add some commentary that it won't be his last, though this will likely be the first of many appearances as the future face of the league. He comes into the matchup with plenty of momentum after scoring 42 points against the Hawks on Thursday. And then, of course, he had that 8-block game in their loss against the Sixers. As the favorite for Defensive Player of the Year, certainly the lead the league in blocks, Wemby will be tested by a Knicks team that ranks second in offensive rating. While the under has been profitable on Christmas Day in the past, New York and San Antonio both have hit a 53.6% clip on the over this year. So NBA.com leaning hard into the gambling side of this particular equation. The first game on Christmas Day is usually a slog early. Not that the game necessarily moves slowly. It's just that nobody's awake, so shots are going in. They're kind of getting up and down the court, but it's a lot of misses, bing, pong, clang, the sounds that you hear. Sleigh bells ringing is actually the sound of shots banging off the side of basketball rims on Christmas morning. Yes, the first game on Christmas Day does tend to be the goofiest because these guys aren't used to being at an arena and going that early. They've also done all of their family stuff either the night before or first thing that morning. They've probably got to be at the arena by, I would think, 8, 9, something like that in the morning to get themselves ready. I don't think they're going to go show and go. Too many body parts for an NBA player could just sort of fall off. As far as what's going on with the two teams involved in this thing, there really aren't many injury notes on these two clubs. Spurs are largely healthy. They've got Wemby, they've got Chris Paul, Sohan, and Vassell are the main guys there. The Knicks starting 5 has just been kicking ass and taking names to this point. Basically, all 5 guys are playing big minutes and putting up big numbers. The Knicks are 19-10 overall. They're the 3rd seed in the Eastern Conference. They're 8-2 in their last 10 ball games. I think they're 15-5 in their last 20, if I'm not mistaken. They've won 4 in a row. Hard to catch the Cavaliers, who basically are just never slowing down. But the Knicks look great. So fantasy-wise, there's really almost nothing on this game. You play the guys that you expect to have good games, and we roll from there. That was a boring one. Maybe the next one will be more entertaining. What's the second game on the docket? Is that Wolves-Mavs that's next? Yeah, it's Wolves-Mavs. All right. Wolves-Mavs is the next one on the screen. Nope, that's still that same one. Why can't we get this thing to go? Come on, Dan. You're better at this. Fix it, Bespris. Wolves-Mavs is the next one on the docket. There we go. I got it figured out. I'm a winner. Mavs, 4.5-point favorite, total of 227. This game starts, and this is how they all go, exactly 2.5 hours after the previous ball game for a bit. 2:30 Eastern Time, 11:30 a.m. Pacific. NBA.com writes, Anthony Edwards gets his first appearance on Christmas Day, looking to avenge last year's loss to the Mavs in the Western Conference Finals. Both teams have started to look more like themselves. I don't think that's true. after a slower start to the regular season. The Mavs are 4th in the West, 8-2 in their last 10, while the Wolves have had the best defensive rating this month during a 5-3 stretch. I don't think that includes yesterday's loss. Last year on Christmas Day, Dallas guard Luka Doncic dropped 50 points and 15 assists. Woof. This is why I was pretty confident that we'd get Luka back for this ball game, and then he ended up coming back for the Mavs' previous game anyway. So yes, the Mavs are healthy, and the Wolves are healthy. So far, we don't have a whole lot of the fantasy stuff to go on. From a sports betting standpoint, it's hard to know what's going to happen in a game like this one. The Wolves have had almost no identity lately. They have played good defense, but they also haven't been able to score much. So I think you probably look at the under. But they've also looked really, really bad. It's just that Christmas Day, everybody is it's a different game. Guys get up. You see unusual things. People are going to lose a lot of money betting on Christmas Day. I can tell you that right now. From a fantasy standpoint, on the Wolves side, we're watching to see if Mike Conley can ever get sort of a consistent role and a consistent shot going down. He finally shot over 50% for like the first time in a month and a half in the Wolves' last game, but it didn't matter. Naz Reid was playing better in that one. Rudy Gobert's been in a deep slump. There's probably a bit of a buy low going on with the Stifle Tower, who has not been stifling. Well, I mean, his defense has still been good, but not as many blocked shots or rebounds this year. And then you've got the Anthony Edwards, Julius Randle stuff. You know, what is this team? Mostly a bunch of underachievers. Is there anybody on the Wolves that's actually outperforming their ADP right now? Is even one player on that team? Let's double check ourselves. Anthony Edwards, no. Gobert, no. Randle, no. Naz, no. Conley, no. Jaden, no. Dante, no. No, the whole team is underperforming their ADP. Literally every player on this team that was considered on draft night is underperforming. They're a mess. They're a mess. Some more than others. Edwards, Gobert, Randle, and Naz are the 4 guys that I think belong on 12-team rosters. Conley is the guy that we're very close on. I dropped him last week, and then everybody else is not particularly tight to it. And the Mavericks, with Luka and Kyrie back in there, you're playing those 2 guys. You're playing Derek Lively. You're playing PJ Washington. I don't think you're playing Clay when the team is fully healthy. Gafford is right on the borderline. He's probably a yes when the team's healthy. But those of you guys that have watched my show recently, you know that I want to try to sell Gafford when he has a big ball game because Derek Lively has been a guy more on the rise over the last little bit. The third game is, I believe, Sixers Celtics. Yes, indeed it is. Make sure I got the order of this stuff right. Sixers Celtics game 3. That is at 5 o'clock Eastern time, 2 Pacific. Celtics favored by 9.5. Joel Embiid is expected to play. Remember, he was just ejected in the last ball game, so it wasn't an injury-related thing that was going to take him out for any extended stretch. For the Sixers, you're playing Embiid, you're playing Paul George, you're playing Tyrese Maxey. You might go Kelly Oubre in this sort of high-profile game, but probably not. I don't think Oubre is a top 100 guy when that team is fully healthy. For the Celtics, I would expect they'll have their full roster for this one. Jason Tatum sat out the loss on Monday with flu-like symptoms. Non-COVID illness is the new way to mark flu-like symptoms in the NBA. It's not new, I guess. Freaking half-decade old now. So they'll have the usual squad, meaning for the Celtics, you can start Tatum, Brown, Porzingis, Drew Holiday, who's playing a little bit better in his last 1 or 2 games, and Peyton Pritchard are the 5 for the C's. Horford is a no. Sam Hauser is a no. Derek White is a yes. Almost forgot D. White. NBA.com writes the Celtics are nearly double-digit favorites against the Sixers. Total, by the way, is 222.5. Defending champs are second in the East, while Philly is outside the play-in tournament during the early part of the season. Boston is 17-20 on Christmas Day, but has recorded back-to-back wins over the Lakers and Bucks. Philly's 19-15 on this holiday after last year's loss to the Miami Heat. None of that means anything about anything. I think it actually could be a kind of a decent ball game. I would look at the underdog, but it is a big line, and maybe that's just sending us down the wrong path. But again, mostly healthy. All these teams are just trying to get healthy for Christmas Day, which I guess is good? Question mark? from a fantasy standpoint, I think it might be more fun to have other stuff, but well, so it goes. Lakers and Warriors. We're coming close to the end of an era with this one. LeBron and Steph battling again. This is the 5 o'clock game out west, 8 o'clock Eastern time. Warriors favored by 4.5, total of 230.5. NBA.com writes, the Lakers and Warriors have become staples on Christmas Day, but this will be their first matchup since LA's 127-101 win in 2018. They haven't played each other, interestingly, on Christmas, although they tend to play others. The Lakers have lost 3 in a row on Christmas, posting a 2-4 clip since LeBron joined the team. Golden State lost to Denver last year on Christmas, falling to 15-18 on Christmas Day. The Warriors are 10-5 at home on Christmas, which suggests why they might be 4.5 favorites in this matchup. What do you mean this suggests? Home court advantage in the NBA is 3 points. It has been for decades. You could argue maybe 3.5 or 4 in higher profile games. The reason that they're a particular favorite is because of Vegas power rankings. They're not worried about Christmas. They're not worried about whatever you guys think. People that write about sports betting these days are out of their damn minds. They need to understand what is and is not baked into the line, but we're not going to go down that path. Lakers have been playing better defense lately. Warriors are a pretty good defensive team pretty much throughout this year. Christmas Day games are weird. I would not be at all surprised to see this game go under the total with the way the clubs are also old and slow. The only question is the thing the Lakers tend to struggle with more lately is pick and roll. They've been running more drop coverage. You certainly can't do that against Steph, or at least not quite as effectively. But Anthony Davis has historically swallowed up the Warriors' offense. He's done a lot of it himself. They had a whole game plan just to try to get Anthony Davis away from the bucket, but they don't have the spacing they did when they ran that game plan. Not this year. Who the hell can shoot on that team besides freaking Steph? I feel like Jonathan Kuminga's going to have a decent game here. Health-wise, both these teams are actually relatively healthy. The Lakers side, D'Lo is dealing with a hand or thumb thing, so it's possible that he might not be in for this game. We don't have a report on that yet, but that's just something you saw towards the end of the Lakers-Pistons game, which occurred on late Monday night. Warriors are trying to work Dennis Schroeder into the mix. They have a lot of sort of fringe-level guys, and it's hard to know who's actually going to be useful on a night-to-night basis for fantasy. So for the Warriors, you're playing Steph, you're playing Andrew Wiggins. If you're talking about guys you think will post top 100 lines or better, that might be it. And if you think Kuminga has a better game, which I do think he does in this one, then maybe you lean his direction. Lakers tend to have some issues with guys that are like multi-level scorers, but the more one-dimensional guys have Lakers have done a pretty good job of taking them out the last 4 or 5 games or so since they adjusted their defensive strategy. For the Lakers, LeBron, AD, Austin Reeves, those are the 3 guys that are the starts. If D'Lo's hurt, obviously he's a no. Rui's a no when this team is healthy. Christie's been playing better, but he doesn't have enough fantasy value to get that start. And then again, if you're talking about like just schedule stream type of stuff, then a lot of these fringe guys become a yes. But, you know, I'm looking for guys that are going to really move the needle, the top 100 type of guys or better. But, you know, if you're looking for like DFS flyer type plays, Max Christie, I shouldn't talk about DFS because I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. But, you know, just for like Lakers have a pretty good schedule because they play on Christmas Day. Warriors actually have the better schedule because they have a back-to-back on Friday and Saturday. Lakers only play on Saturday. So, like, if you wanted to play Brandon Pajemski to get him on Christmas and then that back-to-back, that's fine. But you definitely wouldn't do that against the game's cap on the Roto side. And then finally, the last one on the docket when most of the Eastern Seaboard will be long since asleep. 10:30 in the evening on Christmas night. Everybody is fetid and tired. Nuggets 1.5-point favorites against the Suns. Total of 233.5. The Nuggets just obliterated the Suns on Monday. So this is a rematch, basically, of a game that happened in Denver. This one is in Phoenix. And the line has shifted because I think this line came out when Booker was still healthy. It's now... no, that's true. Only up by 1. My mistake. Nuggets, it was 1.5. Now it's up to 2.5. Denver's playing on Christmas Day for the 3rd year in a row and the 10th time ever. This is from NBA.com. The Nuggets are 3-6 on Christmas after winning their last 2. Phoenix is a slight underdog. The team has lost 7 of its previous 8 Christmas games, and this game has the tightest or shortest spread on the slate, suggesting it could be the most competitive contest. Yeah, and we're really digging into the weeds here to get the most critical analysis. Sorry, NBA.com. I didn't intend to clown on you when I started this show, but that's some John Madden at the peak level. There's a close line kind of analysis. Yeah, I would expect Phoenix to be more competitive here after they got blitzed by the Nuggets in that last ball game, but also Phoenix is not very good. Not when they don't have all 3 of their main guys, or really just Booker and Durant. They need to have Booker and Durant. Royce O'Neal is dealing with some groin soreness. They might be digging deeper into that bench, which is not super deep to begin with. I hope it's a good ball game. That's where I sit on this one. From a fantasy standpoint, this game probably does have the most angles because Jamal Murray missed the Nuggets' last ball game. I'm assuming he'll play on Christmas, but we don't know for sure. Still, that's allowed Russell Westbrook to kind of get cooking. He got warmed up when Jamal Murray missed some time a few weeks ago. He sort of stayed warm when Christian Brown missed some time. And then he's just been good even when the Nuggets have gotten fully healthy. So Russ, I think, is playable these days as your sort of extra guy on the Nuggets. For the Suns, if Royce O'Neal is out, I think you just sort of wipe out the extra player and you just go Durant and Beal and maybe Nurkic, although remember, he got smoked right out of the game in Denver on Monday. So I don't even know about Nurk. I think I probably do try him, but man, I wouldn't push it there. If Royce O'Neal plays, I probably would get him into my lineup because, again, no Booker, no Grayson Allen, probably. Maybe Grayson comes back after the concussion, but probably no Grayson Allen. So that would allow Royce O'Neal to pick up a lot of playing time, in addition to the kind of medium-sized amount of playing time that he already had. And that's your Christmas Day preview here on Old Man Squad Fantasy Basketball. Wanted to keep it to 15 minutes, and I got close. Imperfect, but close. And a reminder, friends, that BetOnline continues to be the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for online betting. They've got the earliest odds, live in-game betting, and the ability to watch the games as they happen. So if you're getting down on Christmas Day, head to BetOnline and use promo code BELIEVE, BLEAV, for your welcome bonus on your first deposit. BetOnline, the game starts here. Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Holidays. Back with you on Old Man Squad Fantasy Basketball and this network. We'll have a next show on the 26th. No show actually dropping physically on Christmas Day, since this episode should drop late the day before or sometime the day before, so you guys have plenty of time to watch and enjoy. I'm Dan. Thank you for everything up to this point. Can't wait to talk to you guys again on the other side of Christmas. So long for now, everybody.